So basically, we're all familiar with these things, aren't we? Let's get it in focus. You know, you pull the pin out and then you can pull the other bit out. I had a pin come out completely. This little bit. There's one there, and one there. See it? And that's a tray. Now this tray's been filled up with water a couple of times. I suspected there might be a puddle underneath it. The leak, I'm pretty sure, is coming from, let me see if I can get that right in there properly. Difficult to get it in there. There we go. You can see it's there. That's where it's coming in, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I figured there'd be some underneath. So I got this thing out, and sure enough, it's like difficult because there's no light. But basically, there's a puddle of water in the bottom of this. So I've got a. Well, I could hoover that out. I've got a wet and dry hoover, but the thing is that's buried underneath all kinds of stuff in a cupboard under the stairs, and you have I'd have to find the sponge filter for it rather than the paper one that's for the sort of regular vacuuming. And I've got a little handheld battery operated hoover, which would probably be ideal, but that don't deal with water. So basically, I'm going to find a way to get it out of there. I could use this little rag and squeeze it out each time, but each time I dip it down there and pull it out, it's going to be dripping all over this. I could take it to somewhere and get it, you know, use it one of the wet and dry hoovers, wet vacs or whatever at you know, at a petrol station, but they don't tend to have nozzles that will go down there. I think I'm gonna have to see if I can find one that does, because I need to get the water out of there. I need to stop this thing from leaking, and then I need to see what the damage is. I think it's the TV tuner. It might be more. But because you can even see the water that's coming down here. But the thing is, with even if it is the TV tuner, which is only analog, it only gets one channel or so now anyway, because it's on a fiber optic sort of loop, when one thing stops, I think a whole bunch of other things stop. So I've got no sound in the car, no reverse camera, etc., etc. So I need to get that hoovered out. I need to stop it from filling up again, and then I need to investigate. I almost guarantee it's not going to be just a fuse that blew in, you know, in protection. The unit itself is going to be Donald ducked. So I'll have to sort that out. But anyway, yeah, got to get the water out. Right, cheers. It's cold out there. Right. So over the state of this camera work, it's difficult to get in there with a phone, an iPhone. But anyway, there was a puddle down there. It's dried out a bit now. I just kept dipping this thing in and squeezing it out and just cupping my hand so that it didn't drip all over this thing. Yeah, so now really, I think for the time being, I'm gonna put this back and I think I might put those screws in the glove box for now and just leave that like that for the minute. because I might need to get in there and do whatever. So for the time being, put this back. These will go. Forgot that the camera lens is not the same as my eyes. Anyway, these will go in the left compartment for now. What I need to do is I need to deal with this. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think what may have happened, if it is that's leaking, I haven't poured water down to be sure, but I think it is. This bit here had come away, and I got it to uncome away. I kept pushing it and it sort of popping out, and one day I just thought, look, pay attention and do it properly. I don't know whose voice it was that was in my head. It's probably an old teacher's or maybe my mum's or something. But anyway, pay attention and do it properly was the thought, or thereabouts. And so I did it and it stayed in, and I think this thing just puts pressure on the bungs at either end, and I guess I did a thorough one. I knew there was a catch, pardon the pun. Getting this in there nice and tight has caused, through opening and closing, I think the pressure to transfer to down here, and it's pulled it out from here. This is quite a common thing on E70s apparently. So basically what I'm going to do, I think, is take it out and try and put it back in, which is, I was a bit fearful of taking it out, but it's got to be done. I really don't want to have to remove the strut to get in there properly. That would be an irritant. Now, you never know, this might be part of why the seals are leaking, you know, the door seals. I don't think it is. Anyway, I'm going to get two hands on this, so you're going to see my success or my failure. Right, so basically I got it out of there. See, these clips can go back in, but the problem is this cover's not sitting tightly, so that when the clip's back in, it's not pulling nice and snugly down onto this thing. And it's like, it's only little beads that come down there, but when it's going straight in, it's almost like it's just so humiliating, because of course you open the tailgate to see what's happening, and it all pours off the tailgate straight in there, like, you know. So you already know there's a problem. It's like, let me take a closer look. It's like, okay, let me just soak it one more time. But anyway, couldn't put mastic or something underneath. I really don't want to do that, because one, I know the car's getting on, but I hate it when you start graffitiing your car. Do you know what I mean? Every fix you do is another broken waiting to happen. I've got those anyway on one of these, or on any car at this age, I guess, with this much tech in it. But it's nice, you know, if you can just put it back and say, well, that would do me for another 11 years, or 9 if I want to get there before it leaks and packs things up. Anyway, so what I'm going to try and do is, I'm suspecting this needs to sort of, it's probably a lip, but it needs to get over the lip so that it's nice and snug, so it doesn't lift up like this, and then I can clip this thing back in, and hopefully then it'll be fine. And if it's not, then I'll double check that it definitely is there, that's leaking, and if it is, then I'll put some sealant there, but I'll put it on almost like as a gasket, rather than flooding it, you know, bridging the gap with some dodgy sealant on the outside. I'll just clean it all up and squish it together and use the sealant as like a gasket. All right. Famous last words and all that, but I don't know if you can see, but I've managed to get it over. I've got to try and clip it back in without it flipping out. I think I might have done it. How long it will last done for, I don't know. But like I say, if it undoes my done, if it does do that, done it, because your duns do get undone sometimes, don't they? Then I will clean up the mating surfaces and stick some sealant in there as some sort of a gasket, as long as it will peel away when you pull the thing apart, you know. But it will just promote an alternate route for the water egress, as originally intended by the designer, to come down here, and that way it can keep this little bit nice and washed. Anyway, let's see if it's famous last words or not. Right, it's better than it was when I found it, as in when I found the problem. Really try and get in there. There we go. But I'm not so sure if it's really going to be perfect. I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe I should tip some water down there just to see, but I think I'm gonna, in fact, I don't even think I'm gonna pull it out and do it. I think I'm just gonna, because the gap's smaller now than it was. Where's my finger? There you go. Down there, I think I might just wipe something removable out of there. Some mastic that don't ever dry would be quite good, but I'm not so sure that's gonna have completely done it, but it may have done. These are the sunroof drains, by the way. They open outwards. That one's stuck out at the moment. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, I think those are okay. See, actually, I'm looking at this one now, and it's only as perfect as my other one on the other side. So maybe that's not good enough, I don't know. By the way, I'm not huge, I'm 6 foot, but does it like have to be that I have to duck with? Do the non-electric ones open up further? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I say that because I've just tapped my head on it, and I'm always conscious of that. So anyway, whatever. So let's see, I may have fixed it or improved it, but I've still got a blown diffuser down in the box. So yeah, let's see how I get on with this for the time being. And once I've opened and closed the tailgate a few times, it may pop out again. I'm not so sure it will, because it was a bit awkward to get in, and it did sort of clip into place, but this rubber just isn't as snug as I would like it to be. But then again, it isn't on the other side. But that, as I say, there may be some... Hey, why don't I look? Okay. There may be some water on this side too. No, it seems pretty dry. I think that's all right. Oops. I'm really not used to wearing glasses, and it's kind of like having to take them off to look further away. Anyway, whatever, you don't need to hear that. It's dry on that side. Maybe if it leaks a little bit, it pulls up in the doors down here, like I said, along here, and it eventually gets over this level and comes into the carpet, both sides. This side's normally a little bit worse. That's in another video, I discovered that. But people have been saying to me is, take the door trim off. Don't want to, because clips break and stuff, but anyway, take the door trim off, and I've got the blinds on mine and God knows what else. Take the door trims off and pull the seal out and reseal it, clean it all out and reseal it all the way around with new mastic. That's what I was told to do, and it just seems like, what, so that the water stays inside the door. I mean, yeah, anyway, there's obviously a system that works that I've never known about, because the inside of the door is always dry when I've worked on them in my spraying days. I used to have to strip and fit things. Anyway, whatever. Let's see how we get on with that. But it would seem I'm going to go for an Android head unit at some point, but I still think that to get, rather than bypass the TV tuner, I might start off by thinking about getting a digital one until I see the price of them. But you know, I don't know, I need to do a bit more research on that, because you know, maybe I'll just get the one for I'm sorry, I'm just a bit distracted with somebody who's walking around that I wanted to look at. Anyway, yeah, so wondering that with the iDrive, you know, mine's a CCC, so it's a pre-LCI one, and I might really not want to keep going in and out of the iDrive when I have the head unit from the Android. So I don't know, it's something to think about, and maybe I won't have too much of a choice, but it might be time to hunt around for digital tuners, and I hope I've done my hunting around before I drop this video, because you can bet your life that the most popular part of this entire video will be the bit where I say I'm in desperate need. Did I say desperate? Oops, I don't mean desperate. I might, trying to be as nonchalant as I can. Yeah, I might get a digital tuner. There's no point putting the price up just because I'm on the warpath. Anyway, let's see. Probably more likely is that 2 men and a dog will see this and the dog won't know what a digital tuner is. All right, guys, thank you very much. I think I may have solved it, but there is some legacy, and there's some future legacy as well, if you can have such a thing, which of course you can't, but the English language lets you do pretty much whatever you want. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, even if you don't, just do it anyway, because, you know, I don't know, because I want you to. And see you in the next one. All right, cheers, guys. Yeah, I got a bit warmer, actually doing some physical work for once. Bye-bye. Say, what you doing, bro? Yeah, it may have stayed up. Oh, I don't know, it looks like it's coming apart. I don't think it's going to last long. I'll have to come up with another fix. So, water's still, as you can see, drip. This is bad, isn't it? Water's coming out. I think it is this bit. It may, although it hasn't been raining as much lately, I think it's what I did marginally improved it, but I'm gonna seal that. Well, I'll properly pour some water down there, I think, and check, and then to make sure that that's where it's coming through, and then I'll seal it with something. I'll figure out something. But yeah, not nice. Really not nice. No, there we go. That's what it is.